Okay, take it away, Jill.
Okay, hopefully this works. Okay, can you see the
Yes.
map of Switzerland? Okay. What the situation was is that my friend who owns a travel agency where I worked in Michigan had a international meeting or conference with the travel leaders group that she belongs to. And so the meeting was in Lugano, Switzerland, there at the bottom of the map. And with the meeting, we got to stay in this hotel, beautiful hotel in Lugano for 4 nights, I think. And they took us all around different places around Lugano, and then gave us a 8-day first class Swiss rail pass, which includes all the trains, even the panoramic ones, and various other museums and things around Switzerland. And it's the best way to do Switzerland by rail if you're doing it. But since it was even free, we thought we're going to take advantage of this and get as much out of it as we can. So we planned this trip by rail, and this is the path we took. We started in Lugano, then went to Samaritz because we wanted to take the famous Glacier Express panoramic train that goes from Samaritz to Zermatt. And then from Zermatt, we wanted to go to Montreux, which is in the French speaking area, because Lugano is Italian. Then Montreux is French on Lake Geneva. And then from there, well, there's another panoramic train called the Golden Pass that goes from Montreux to Interlaken. Interlaken, we just changed trains there to get on just a regular train to go to the Zurich airport. So when we first started in Lugano, usually there's a panoramic train called the Bernina Express that goes from Lugano to St. Moritz. But it wasn't run, this was in March, and it was a week before that opened. So we had to take a regular train. It was combined with a bus trip over the Alps and then get on another train to get to St. Moritz. So it was kind of a piecemeal journey to St. Moritz, and we were kind of worried about how it would all work out. But with Switzerland, everything is so perfectly timed. It went off so smoothly that you got off of one train and went onto a bus, and then the bus left right away as soon as you get on it, and then takes you to another little town, and then you get on the last train to St. Moritz. Anyway, we only stayed in St. Moritz the one night because the next morning was the Glacier Express to Zermatt, and that's supposed to be the prime train ride through in Switzerland. So anyway, so that's the route that we took. And this is just we flew into Milan because that was the closest airport to Lugano, and then we had a driver take us from Milan to the hotel in Lugano. And this, I just showed this because I had a lot of miles, so I used that to upgrade to first class. And we were lucky, and I had this little roomette, and so I wanted to show what that was like. There was a door here that opened, so you had this whole little cubicle to yourself. Then we got to the hotel, and this was the lovely room that we had, and it's right overlooking the Lake Lugano. That's the view from our balcony.
Oh,
And then that's the front of the hotel. It's called the Grand Hotel Villa Castagnola. And it's a lovely old place. It's been all refurbished and to the time period. It's just beautiful. And this is the front of the hotel. And it's within walking distance right to the center of Lugano. This is in the evening. They had a piano player and cocktails in the lobby. Then behind the hotel is a funicular that takes you to the top of a mountain called Mont Bray. And at the top of the mountain is this restaurant and little snack bar type place. So this is the restaurant. Sorry. And you see all these little notices all of a sudden. That's trying to clear them all. Anyway, so this is the restaurant. That's the view from the restaurant. We had just had a glass of sparkling water or something before we went back down, but it was such a gorgeous view. That's it again. And then we got on the funicular, went back down to Lugano and started walking toward the center of town. And they've got it all planted with flowers all along the water's edge. It's just a beautiful spot. And that's us in front of the famous gate there. And then there's this church called the Church of St. Mary's of the Angels. And it's got the finest Renaissance frescoes in Switzerland. So that's a picture of that church. And this is just more of the town center of Lugano along the water. The next day, the group took us to Locarno, which is on Lake Maggiore. Lake Maggiore goes from Switzerland into Italy, so we were taking a boat ride on the Swiss part of Lake Maggiore, and they took us to this little island with, this is the scenery on the boat ride. This little island with a villa, and surrounding the villa is a beautiful botanical garden. And this little island in the middle of Lake Maggiore. And so this is the bamboo forest in the botanical garden. And this is part of the grounds of the villa. And then this is some of the towns you stop. The boat was sort of like a ferry between these various towns on the shores of Lake Maggiore. This is a town called Arcona. Then back in Lugano again. It's the shores of Lake Lugano. And this is a famous statue in the park down there on the shore, and it's sleeping Socrates. There's more pictures of the beautiful gardens on the shore. Then the next day, we took a boat ride on Lake Lugano, and we were going to port called on the lake called Morcote, and they had a vineyard there and a sort of a castle type fortress. And then the village at the bottom of the hill here. This is the village at the where you land, you dock your boat, and then it was Easter, and so these guys were all dressed up like Easter bunnies. They came up and threw candies at us.
So was this in April?
Yeah, well, March and April. The end of March, beginning of April. It's more cold. And then they took us to this hotel for Easter brunch in Morcote. This is the hotel. They wanted us to sell it, obviously, to future clients. And this is at the vineyard, the views up on the hill from that vineyard. And then we had a wine tasting. That's all at the vineyard. Oh, the next day, we're leaving the conference and going on our train journey. So this is just waiting for the first train. It was about 20 minutes before we had to get off that train and get onto a bus. So this is the train setup. So this is just a normal train in Switzerland. So you can see it's very nice and very nice accommodations and all. And when you have this pass, you just get on and off and show your pass. You don't have to buy any separate tickets or anything. So it makes it very easy. So this is the train ride to get to the bus. And then this is the scenery going up over the Alps. And this is the bus. And so now we're on, and which was a very comfortable bus and beautiful scenery and on that too. Let's see, this is a video. She's not too happy about being in camp. This is once we got on the train, was climbing higher and higher. And you see this, it makes it very easy on every train. They have the whole timetable when you're going to get to every stop, and it's always extremely accurate. You get there on the dot. So we were getting to St. Moritz at 3 p.m. This is on the train, and it's this is a regular train again, not a panoramic train. And they come with beverages, and we had a table between us and all. And then this is the train. Sorry for the reflection, but that's going into a tunnel. This is the train that we're on. And then we get to St. Moritz. Whoops. And that's the lake that I had been there before in the summer, and it was a beautiful lake with a little bit of snow cap on the mountains, but here it's all frozen and the mountains are completely covered. This is the famous hotel in St. Moritz, but it's very exclusive. They didn't even want you walking through there. And then the next morning we get on the Glacier Express. So you can see the panoramic windows so that you can look up and see all the tops of the mountains and everything. We were lucky. We had reservations. You have to get reservations for these panoramic trains. So we had, we got on the 2 side, which was good. There in the first class area, you have two on this side and one seat on the other side. And this is another shot of the car. We were fascinated by this girl's outfit. But if you notice, when you see her throughout there's a few pictures of her, and no matter what scenery is out the window, she's looking at her iPhone. This is just the scenery on the Glacier Express. There she is again, looking at her iPhone. This is more scenery on the Glacier Express. There she is again, looking at her iPhone. This is all on the Glacier Express. As we climbed higher and higher, we get into the clouds, and it's very cold and snowy. That's not much visibility, as you can see, once we get up there. But I had been on this train in the summer, and it was just a totally different experience. They stopped at the top of the pass, and we could get out and take pictures, but you couldn't really see much. But this is how windy it was.
A nice look.
Right. And then this is going through this very barren landscape in the clouds. And then as we descend, it gets to be more scenic. Then we get to Zermatt, and it was the evening. We went right to our hotel, which was up on a cliff above the town. So you go into this tunnel into the cliff and take an elevator up to the hotel. So you didn't have to climb up there. And we had paid for a room with a Matterhorn view. which didn't work out because it was totally socked in the whole time we were there. So, but the hotel was really very, very nice and very good food in the dining room. This is because we're above the town, this is the view we had of the town in the evening. And the painting on the wall was the best view we had of the Matterhorn the whole time we were there. In the dining room. This is the view out of our room, which is supposed to be the Matterhorn. And then we went down, we were going down into town to get the next day to get the cog rail up to the viewpoint of the Matterhorn, which is called the Gornergrat. And there's skiing up there and all. And you have this, I'd been there before in the summer, and it was, gorgeous panoramic view of the Alps and the Matterhorn. And we knew we were taking a chance because it was pretty socked in, but we thought, well, maybe it'll clear by the time we get up there. But as you'll see, it didn't. And while we were there in the town, you kept hearing these explosions, and it turns out it's controlled explosions to cause controlled avalanches so that they don't happen, as a surprise and hurt people. And this is the cog rail, the train that you get on to go up to the Matterhorn viewpoint. This is sort of the scenery that we had going up. We're through the forest. It was quite pretty with all of the snow on all the pine trees and everything, but you can't see very far. So that train rides maybe about 45 minutes, I guess. And then at the top, this is halfway to the top. This is called Rifflesburg, sort of a halfway station, and there's a ski lift there, and everybody was taking advantage of that. But this is a totally different scene to when I was there. As you can see here, and this hotel, wait, okay. See the hotel there on the right is the same one as this one when I was there in July, about 5 years before. So this is what we should be seeing. And this is the Matterhorn. And this is what was behind us was in the summer. And then for days like today, on this day, this is a virtual reality place where you can go in there and let's see, you put this thing on in this swing and you feel like you're hang gliding over the Alps. And then this is the restaurant hotel at the top, which obviously you couldn't see a darn thing, but it was interesting. And a chapel. And we found something else to do at the top. At our Swiss fondue. More on the way back down. This was the view. And there's the ski resort again. And then back down in Zermatt, these are the fancy hotels in Zermatt, the Zermatterhof and the Montserrat Palace. And then this is our dining room in our hotel, which is really charming. I love that place. Very Swiss looking. And that's the next day we got up and there was a little bit better visibility outside our room door, but still couldn't see the Matterhorn. And then back down to the train station for our train ride into Montreux, which is in the French section. They speak German in Zermatt, Italian in Lugano, and French in Montreux. So this is on the way to Montreux. And here we are in Montreux on the shore of Lake Geneva, the view from our room. There. With the beautiful park down by the shore again. That's the hotel. And then because of the jazz festival, the Montreux Jazz Festival every year, they have all of these statues to jazz greats out in front in the park. And I'm from Detroit, so I had to get Aretha Franklin's statue. And then this is the shores of Lake Geneva. Beautiful flowers and statuary artwork all along the path along the water. And then the next day we took a day trip to Gruyere, which is not too far from, it was about an hour, I guess, on the train. And we had this antique car that we took. And Gruyere is where, of course, where the cheese comes from. So it's a medieval town. This is landing or stopping in Gruyere. It's a panoramic view from the top. And this is the medieval town of Gruyere. And it's mostly shops and restaurants. And then there's a fortress type castle at the top of the hill that you can go through. So this is up at the castle. And that's all the view castle. More view. That's in the castle. And then we stop for raclette, which is the Gruyere cheese melted on this gizmo here with, you put the melted cheese on boiled potatoes, pickles, and bread. That was a lovely place to have a lunch. And that's the restaurant. Then the last panoramic train was called the Golden Pass. And that went from Montreux to Interlaken. Interlaken is where you get off to go to the Jungfrau, go up the Jungfrau and that kind of thing, which is one of the highest mountains in Switzerland. But we didn't have time to go up the Jungfrau, and we'd done it before. So we just went to Interlaken, changed trains, and went on to Zurich for our train, for our flight back home. But this is the scenery from the Golden Pass train on the way to Interlaken. Go through a lot of little Swiss villages, and then this is at Interlaken, the last train stop before Zurich. And this is not a fancy train. This is just a regular one, so it's really quite nice. And it was easy to get on and off with our luggage and everything. So that's the end of the pictures.
Very nice. Did the Glacier Express live up to its reputation? Is it that nice or?
Yeah, I thought, I mean, it was, you know, you could pre-order a meal, and it was a nice meal, and it was, and then the scenery was gorgeous, you know, it was just totally different from the way it is in the summer. But I thought it was really interesting to see it all totally snow covered.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And it just gorgeous scenery. But even just the ride from Lugano on the bus over the Alps to get to St. Moritz was gorgeous. So, and it just all goes off so smoothly and efficiently.
So Swiss.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It was great.
Now you had a couple of pictures of beautiful flowers of the colors, but this was March, and those beautiful flowers were out in March.
Exactly. Even, you know, you saw in the Alps how snowy and cold it was. So we had all kinds of a wardrobe. You know, you had to have like a t-shirt for down in Montreux and Lugano, but on the, then we had to have our snow boots for going up into Zermatt. So, but the flowers were gorgeous. And I guess, with the Gulf Stream and the lower altitudes, it's the flowers are all blooming.
They were beautiful.
Yeah.
And how long were you gone?
I think we were gone 11 days. But we were, 4 days in Lugano on that conference. So then we had to cram the train in, and we wanted to see all that stuff. So we had just 2 nights in Zermatt, 2 nights in Montreux, and 1 night in St. Moritz. But that was just because we wanted to get there to get to the train. That's where the train starts. So that was it.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
You wonderful.
Two
Well,
nice
I had
presentations.
done the same trip, well, not same, but a lot of the same things on a Tauk tour about 6 years ago with my husband. But in July, as you saw those pictures. So I sure didn't mind going again. But it was interesting to see it all at a different season.
I had also done it with Trafalgar, I think, the
Mhm.
railroads of Switzerland. So we did those scenic ones
Yeah,
also in most of the same places that you
right.
just went to. Yeah. Yeah. But yes, the trains are unbelievable.
Yeah,
As you said,
unbelievable.
you get off and then you go into another, to another platform, go down here and take this one. And yeah, they run split second. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
When we were so worried about, getting our bags off in time and getting onto the other, because they allow like a 3-minute connection between trains and some of these things. And you think, I'm never going to be able to do that, but it's so easy. So,
So did your luggage stay with you?
yeah, we made sure we didn't take too much. We tried to get, a medium-sized suitcase because we knew we were going to be the ones that were handling it on and off of the train. But there was plenty of room on each car to stow your bag. And you just had to, you wheeled luggage and you just hoisting it from the platform to the train was probably the worst part. But
And then did it get stored like above your seats?
no, there's like a little cubby when you get on for luggage, with a couple of shelves, so if you get there first, you can just put it on the bottom. But it was very convenient. And then some places, like when you had those two seats facing each other, between the 2 couples of seats, there was a little stowage area between the backs of two seats, so you could keep some things there too, like
And
your hand baggage or whatever.
And the food on the train?
It was great. Yeah. And we had, the restaurants we went to were all very good. And apparently the Swiss, we don't think of Switzerland as having wine, but in that area around Ticino by Italy, they do a lot of wine, vineyards and things, and they have some really good wines, but they're just not marketed outside of Switzerland because they don't do that much.
So on the train, Jill, did you get like a menu like at a restaurant, or they just
The ones that we ate on were pre-ordered. So on the website, I ordered them before. You didn't really have that much of a choice. One was a breakfast, one was a lunch, I believe. And my friend was vegetarian, so I just chose the vegetarian option and the other option for me, and it was all very good. So it was pretty easy. And then there's the Swiss Rail has an app that you can find all the whole timetable and book your tickets on if you want or whatever. But if you have that pass, you don't even really have to book tickets unless it's a a panoramic train. It was good. And then the last train went right to, there's a station at the Zurich airport. So we just found a train that went right to the Zurich airport. So and then we had a hotel at the airport before our flight the next morning. So we didn't have to, worry about cabs or anything like that. So,
Nice.
yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you so much.